Good morning, everyone. So I welcome all to this webinar motivation session, IAS Success Mantra, and I am pleased and honored to welcome the alumni of Kamaraj IAS Academy, Dr. Prabhushankar IAS, who is the District Collector of Karur now, most efficient officer that Tamil Nadu has seen recently, and of course, you have heard a lot about Karur, the developmental plans he has for the people, and how he is conservative for the poor people, weaker section. இப்போ கூட recent I was looking into a newspaper article where I took proud, right? So that he was my student. So ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருந்துச்சு. நம்ம ஒரு ரீசெண்டா தமிழ் படம் கூட பார்த்தோம். லைக் கர்ணன் ஒரு ஸ்டோரி ஆஃப் பஸ் நிக்கல, அதுக்கு சண்டை போட்டாங்க அப்படிலாம் பார்த்தோம். 30 வருஷமா பஸ்ஸே ஓடாத ஒரு ஏரியாவுக்கு கலெக்டர் பஸ் கொண்டு வந்திருக்காரு, நிறுத்தி வச்சிருக்காருன்னு சொல்லி பார்க்கும்போது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருந்துச்சு பிரபுசங்கர். நான் இன்னைக்கு தான் அதை உங்ககிட்ட சொல்றேன். ஸோ ரொம்ப கீப் அப் யுவர் குட் ஒர்க். அண்ட் ஃபார் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், ஸோ நம்ம we have seen a lot, கிளாஸ் நிறைய பார்த்துட்டோம். அண்ட் ஆல்சோ we have seen லாக்டவுன் அண்ட் ஒரு we come across so many things. இப்போ today, of course, it's a lockdown period, and luckily it's a lockdown that Prabhushankar sir is available today. Okay, otherwise you have been busy. So திருப்பியும் அவர் மக்களை நோக்கி அவர் பணி நோக்கி ஓடிக்கிட்டே இருப்பாரு. ஐ எம் வெரி ஹாப்பி தட் ஸோ ஈவன் தோ லாக்டவுன் நமக்கு கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம்னாலும் சாரை நமக்கு கூட இருக்கிறதுக்கு ஸோ ஐ எம் ஹாப்பி ஃபார் தட். அண்ட் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு மோட்டிவேஷன் செஷன் ரொம்ப நாளாக பிளான் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன். I was doing, I was thinking about it, and I want the right person to motivate you. Say, the right person எனக்கு நினைச்ச உடனே the first person who came to my thought is Dr. Prabhushankar. அவர் டாக்டர் பிரபுசங்கர் தான் சொல்றேன். ஏன் அப்படின்னா ஐ நோ ஹிம் ரைட் சின்ஸ் ஃபார் த டைம் ஹி வாஸ் அ டாக்டர். ஆக்சுவலி ஹி இஸ் அ டாக்டர் அண்ட் ஹி இஸ் டூயிங் சோஷியல் மெடிசின் நவ், ரைட்? சமூகத்துல இருக்கிற எல்லா நோயையும் குணப்படுத்திட்டு இருக்காரு இப்ப அவர் கலெக்டரா உட்காந்து. ஸோ அதுக்கு அவர் திருப்பி நான் வாழ்த்துக்கள் சொல்லிக்கிறேன். அண்ட் நான் எப்பயுமே அவர் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணும்போது சொல்லுவேன், a sincere aspirant, so who played by the rule and who succeeded in his game. எப்பயுமே சக்சஸ் மந்த்ராக்கு சக்சஸ் ஆனவங்களை கூப்பிடுவோம். அதுவும் சக்சஸ் எப்படி கரெக்டான ஒரு வழியில போய் he got all India 7th rank, right? So that's a great thing. சும்மா நானும் ஐஏஎஸ் எழுதுனா வாங்கின போனதோட விட he did it with flying colors, and of course அதோட நிக்காம and he right so went to a training in the Missouri. So லபாஸ்னா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், எல்லாரோட ட்ரீம். நம்ம அங்கேயும் he came with very flying colors. Okay, right? So where he was literally making his imprint everywhere, wherever he goes. Okay, right? So அதுதான் ஒரு ஒரு அச்சீவருக்கு ஒரு அடையாளம், right? Therefore கண்டிப்பா ஒரு மோட்டிவேஷன் கொடுக்கணும், இது பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா இவர மாதிரி ஆள் தான் வந்து கரெக்டா இருப்பாங்கன்னு நான் அன்னைக்கு நினைச்சேன். And of course, I was asking him, and he magnanimously, even he was so busy, he readily agreed. Sir, நீங்க சொல்லிட்டீங்க பசங்களுக்கு மோட்டிவேஷன். சே மோட்டிவேஷன் உடனே எல்லா வேலையிலையும் விட்டுட்டு இன்னைக்கு ஒரு நாள் தான் அவருக்கு ஐ திங்க் ஹி இஸ் ஃப்ரீ. ஃப்ரீ கூட கிடையாது, பட் ஹி ஹட் மேட் ஹிம்செல்ஃப் ஃப்ரீ ஃபார் அஸ், ரைட்? ஸோ வேர் ஹி மோட்டிவேட்ஸ் ரெடிலி. ஏன் அப்படின்னா சேவை அப்படின்னு வந்துட்டா, சர்வீஸ் அப்படின்னா ஹி டஸ், ரைட்? ஸோ வித்தவுட் எனி எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன் ரெடி டு ஹெல்ப் அதர்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து இட்ஸ் இன்பார்ன் குவாலிட்டி ஆஃப் ஹிம். வேர் ஐ அட்வைஸ் யூ ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் டேக் த குட் குவாலிட்டிஸ், நாட் ஓன்லி த how to study what but also the qualities of being a good human. Say IAS officer ஆகிறது ஈஸி, ரைட்? ஈஸி இன் த சென்ஸ் படிச்சு எல்லாம் ஆனா ஆயிடலாம். ஆனா நல்ல மனுஷனா இருக்கிறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். ஸோ யூ ஷுட் லேர்ன் ஆல் த குட் எத்திக்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் ஹிம், ரைட்? ஸோ பிரபுசங்கர் சார், ஐ ரிக்வெஸ்ட் தட் நீங்க அந்த விஷயங்களும் பசங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க, தி திங்ஸ் யூ கம் அக்ராஸ், ரைட்? அண்ட் எல்லாருமே ஈஸியெல்லாம் கடந்து வந்துடுறது கிடையாது. ஸோ ஒவ்வொருத்தரும் தடைகளை தாண்டி தான் சாதனைகளை படைச்சிருக்காங்க. அண்ட் அப்கோர்ஸ் பிரபுசங்கர் சார் ஆல்சோ, ரைட்? ஸோ டிட் த திங். அதாவது நம்ம வேணா பாக்குறதுக்கு வாங்கிட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு இருக்கும், பட் அந்த சாதனையை படைக்கிற எத்தனை தடைகளை அவர் தாண்டி இருக்காரு. ஸோ த ஹர்டல்ஸ் ஹி கம் அக்ராஸ், ரைட்? இப்ப உங்களுக்கு சூழ்நிலையில வந்து ஐயோ படிக்க முடியல, கொஞ்சம் ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்குது, ஐ ஃபீல் கொஞ்சம் டிமோட்டிவேட்டட், எனக்கு ஒரு மோட்டிவேஷன் தேவை அப்படிங்கும்போது சரி வி ஆல்வேஸ் திங்க், ரைட், எனக்கு மட்டும் தான் அந்த சூழ்நிலை இருக்குதா, ரைட்? ஐ எம் த ஒன் ஹூ இஸ் அண்டர்கோயிங் திஸ் திங் அப்படிங்கும்போது நோ. Even right as a mentor, I'm also undergoing a lot of things, but I tend to come across that, right? And Prabhushankar, right? So as a achiever and yeah, still, right? So he has come across a lot of things in his life, and still he is coming across. Ipo career, he is a district collector, but still, again, the challenges he come across, which means that, right, say life is a challenge and how to, right? So play skillfully. The game is all matter, but the challenge was how to maneuver skillfully. So where this achievers, so the people who made success in their life, in their ambitions, would be a better guide to say that. And of course, right? So he needs no introduction, but இருந்தாலும் நான் introduce பண்ணிக்கிறேன். Dr. Prabhushankar, again I say, right? Dr. Prabhushankar was a doctor by profession and who became an IAS by passion because he wanted to serve more people. Say, many times I told you, there are three professions. One is the teacher profession, mentoring. The other is the doctor, and the other is the district collector. சொல்லுவோம் ஆசிரியர் பணி அறப்பணி நிறைய வாட்டி சொல்லியிருப்போம். எஸ் சேம் திங் ரைட். பட் ஸ்டில் ஆசிரியர் கூட தன்னை தேடி வரவங்களுக்கு மட்டும் நாலேஜ் கொடுக்க முடியும். And the doctor can cure people, right? So who come to him. Whereas முகம் தெரியாத ஒரு பல லட்சம் பேருக்கும் பல ஆயிரம் பேருக்கும் ஹெல்ப் பண்ண முடியும்னா it should be the administrative service. That is what the duty of civil service is, right? And the charm of civil services. And our டாக்டர் சேவை பண்ணாரு, அதை தாண்டி now he is also, right, serving more people. So that let us give him a warm welcome on behalf of Kamaraj IAS Academy. Welcome, sir, Prabhushankar, sir. I don't want to take much time, so you can have your time with the students, right? So once again, I welcome you, sir. So yes, sir, please you can take this stage, sir.
So good morning, sir. So firstly, I feel very bad that you address me as sir, sir. I would really request you
Okay.
to. I think that is something I personally would not like. That I personally wish that you don't call me sir, sir. At the end of the day, I'm a student, and the student remains a student to his mentor and teacher all his life, sir. So you
okay, Prabhushankar. Okay, Prabhushankar. Definitely.
So that's my only request, sir. But then I really thank you for your kind words, sir. And it's always a pleasure to address aspirants and students who are taking up to decide what they want to do in their career. A very good morning to one and all. I think it's a pleasure once again. It's a Sunday. So you've all joined this meeting to really see what's really happening. So that way, I'm really glad that the people who have joined are really joined with some sort of you're looking forward to something. I'll try to do my best. This session, it's not something that where I'm going to, in an hour or so, I will not be really able to tell a lot. But one thing I wish to do, what I wish to do at the end of this session in this next 1 hour, is that I really want to kind of motivate you towards and kind of sensitize you in a very in a small way to the UPSC civil service examination. So if I had done that by the end of the hour, I think I would have succeeded in my endeavor. But first things first, it's always a privilege to be associated with Kamaraj sir for many reasons, and chiefly because he's a teacher par excellence, and in a very short time he was able to serve us. He literally taught me political science. So let me tell you my background. I'm a doctor by qualification. I've done my MBBS, MD community medicine. So political science pictures comes nowhere in my it's not my cup of tea, to be honest. But then I chose political science, and Kamaraj sir, in no time, he literally made me a kind of an expert in political science. So all credit to him. I think I got among the best marks in that year in political science across the country. And he continues to train students, and the icing on the cake, the reason is we say a lot of things come by training. Anybody can achieve anything by your hard work and training, but some things we really have to acknowledge, they come with the genes. Sir is none other than the grandson of our we call Perindalaivar Kamarajar, the former Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, who is Mr. Kamarajar. He is the grandson of Honorable Chief Minister Kamarajar's sister's grandson. So that is, I would say, I would never attach anything to somebody's genes, but then that also matters, especially here, because some things come. The virtues certainly come with, to the next, are passed on to the next generations. So that's it's another reason why I always it's a privilege for me to join sir. And well, let us go to the topic with your permission, sir. I'll be so I have a presentation. I think it's not a new presentation. I have made it much for the earlier sessions as well. So people who have had seen these presentation on the web on YouTube might find it a bit repetitive, but then I feel the same message, if reinforced again and again, sends the right, it evokes the right response. So with you, I'll share a presentation, sir, and I'll be talking along with that. And
Sure.
at the end of the session, the aspirants can always interact with me as and when required, sir. So I'll just share a screen.
Yes. Thank you for the question. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Is it visible, sir? Sir, தெரியுதாங்க sir? Sir, is my screen visible to you, sir? Kamaraj, sir?
Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Okay, I can hear you.
நான் பேசுறது தெரியுதாங்க சார்?
தெரியுது பேசுறது தெரியுது.
தெரியுதா சார்? Is my screen visible, sir?
Not yet.
Is it visible, sir, now?
Visible to us.
Sir, sharing disable பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா சார்? Is it something like that?
இல்ல sharing able பண்ணிருக்கேன். Students, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. That is the screen he shared.
No, sir. Nothing.
No.
One second, I'm not sharing it yet, sir. இப்ப தெரியுதா சார்? Is the presentation visible?
இல்ல not yet நினைக்கிறேன்.
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. I'm really sorry. Just
அந்த விண்டோல போய் நீங்க ஷேரிங் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்தீங்களா? பிரசன்ட் நவ் ஒன்னு இருக்கும் பாருங்க, விண்டோ. அந்த நம்ம ஒரு ஹேண்ட் சிம்பிள் பக்கத்துல.
Yes, sir.
ஒரு பிரசன்ட் நவ் ஒன்னு இருக்குல?
Yes, sir. Present now. அதுல தான் விண்டோல போய் பண்றேன், sir. Is it okay, sir?
I'm at to yes, okay. I'm hearing it.
If full screen வருதா, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So is it right? Is the next slide மாறிடுச்சா இல்ல சேம் ஸ்லைட் நிக்குதா? I've changed the slide மாறி இருக்கா?
No, sir.
Is it stuck with the same slide or the slide has changed?
Yes, same slide.
Same slide. Okay. Then I'll not
Yes, changing now.
I get it. Okay. Right. So in that case, I'll make it this way. Right. So now it is changing now, I guess. Right. So I'll start the presentation. Okay. Kamaraj, sir, I hope it is visible, sir.
Yes, it's visible. Yes, you can proceed. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So, sir, I'll start the presentation. So as the slide says, this is about demystifying India's toughest examination. The topic, this is purely a perception-based thing. At the end of the presentation, I really would like to impress upon you that whether you would really decide whether it is tough or the easiest. So let me try to. It's a lot of mystery and a lot of cloud surrounds this civil service examination. I'll try to unravel the mystery. This will be most relevant for people who are trying to look into civil services as a career option. So let me put it that way. People who are fairly advanced in your preparation, you can take it as maybe a boost, because a few slides might actually tell you why and what you can do once you become an IAS officer. So let me put it that way. Right. So, sir, so I think the next slide, 1 second. Yeah. Right. So this is the list of, sir, is the new slide visible? Just to confirm.
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Right. Thank you. So let me not ask this question again. So if you see the list of toughest examination in the country, this is one list which comes to everyone's mind, and I'm fairly confident that a few of the people who have joined this meeting would have even taken one of these examinations. But then there's one examination that really sits on the top, and that is very much the exam you're going to talk about. That is the UPSC Civil Services Examination. Even in exams like the Joint Entrance Examination or NEET or the AIMS exam, they all come a distant second, third in this category. So why is this, is what I'm trying to answer in the next few slides. Okay. So this slide literally gives you the explanation. So the reason why it is called toughest is chiefly because of the huge competition that is involved in this examination. So as we can see, the success rate of this examination, that is, if you take up this exam, there are 3 stages, which I'll be telling in detail in the coming slides. There are 3 stages, and when you sit for the examination for the first stage, the chances that you succeed that through all the 3 levels and become a successful candidate is just 0.1% to 0.3%. And if your dream is to be the Indian Administrative Service, you only have a 0.03% chance. So that makes it the toughest examination ever in the country. And the reason is, out of the total vacancies that are called for, I think this year there are around 700 and plus vacancies, 712, I believe. So that makes it is 12 and a half times vacancies are selected for the mains. So if that only that number of people are appearing for the mains. So if you see the slide, in the year 2016, close to 11 lakh people applied for the mains, and only 4.6 lakh people actually wrote the preliminary examination. And out of which, irrespective of the number of candidates, the number of people who are actually qualified for the mains is actually 12 and a half times the final vacancies. So it is 1209 into 12.5, which is 15,452. And out of it, the number of people who appear again is a lesser number. And for the next stage, only 2.5 times the total vacancy is selected for the personalities test. So it's 1209 into 2.5. So that is where you actually, that is where you end up eventually. So that is one reason why it actually makes it the toughest examination in the country. And on the other hand, let me tell you, this is also the easiest examination in the country in a way, because the big list of examinations which I just suggested, just to recap, if you can see, joint entrance exam, GATE, CAT, or the AIMS, NEET, CA exam, engineering service exam, all these examinations, they are in a way for the most intelligent, or you can say the cream of the lot. But here, this examination is not an exam for the most intelligent. Anybody can crack, mind you. Anybody. When I say anybody, it is anybody. But then don't ask me, provided you fall into the eligibility criteria. Anybody who is eligible to write the examination can crack this examination. Age is certainly not an issue when it comes to taking up. Like, you can even start just at the upper limit of your age, and you can certainly crack. Disability or differently abled status of yours is not an issue. Gender is not an issue. You might be any of the genders. It is not an issue at all. English fluency, that is another thing which people believe looking at the officers. No, English fluency is immaterial. And another thing, as I said, it is not for the most intelligent. The academic score is immaterial. You might have been a student who had barely scratched your way through your college or your school, but then that hardly matters. Your background is immaterial. You might come from anywhere. You might come from any family, rich, poor, middle class, or whatever. You might come from a village, or you might come from a city. Wherever you live, whatever you do, whatever your parents did, that is immaterial. It is not going to matter at all. And the most important determinant, it is the most integral examination. You just need you to win. You if you can manage it, because I can vouch for it, because I had absolutely no connections when I appeared for the examination, but I could still come up trumps. And that is why I believe this makes it the easiest examination, because apart from your things have to go your way nevertheless, but then as long as you will and you do hard work, you pass it. There is no nepotism or favoritism at any level of the examination. And I'm just going to try to tell you about this examination by a simple the quote of Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling is among the noted. We all remember our childhood where Jungle Book, Mowgli, was telecast. Maybe we are all a bit younger for that, but when we were children, Rudyard Kipling's famous work, Jungle Book, was telecast in the Doordarshan. And so he actually talks about 6 honest serving men. And if you ask them what, it is these questions actually: when, where, what, who, how, and why. So I'm going to try to kind of explain the basic contours of the UPSC civil service examination by answering these 6 questions. So why civil service examination? So these slides were actually made for more for a personal touch in a personal audience when we go for personal meetings. But then nevertheless, we have to take this route. So first things first, why do you take up civil service examination? So some might certainly have that it gives you a lot of power. That is something which might be the reason why you chose to take up this examination. And some you might think, yes, there's some money which comes. There are good earnings. Some might say, sir, it's my childhood dream. I always wanted to become an IAS officer. I've grown up watching my district collector or maybe my district SP police officer doing that, all that. I've been enamored by watching a few movies. So that could be some reason. Some people might say, sir, my mom wants me to be an IAS officer. My dad wants me to be an IAS officer. Some say, so this is a job, it's a very secure job. You might be earning a lot of money even here and abroad, but you thought this is one job where you have job security. You don't really have to bother about switching jobs. And some might say it brings a lot of pride. So in the Parambarike or Puruma sir, in the Khandan, our Khandan ke liye kuch hai, and the mari nanekla. And some might think it is popular. See, I'll be always on the newspapers. My name and my face will always be splashed across the newspapers, across the country or across the state. So that could be the reason. And a negligent few might actually even think that I want to serve the society, sir. That is one thing which is a very what to say. People really want to romba solluvaanga whenever people come for interviews, especially when you take up the board exams in class 12. That is a usual trait across the country. So what do you want to do? You have achieved first rank in the examination, board exams. Enna panna poringa? Doctor I seva seiya poren அப்படின்பாங்க. I'll say they will service-காக பண்ண போறேன்னு. We used to jokingly say, if you want to do service, go to the tennis court. அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லுவோம். So that the point is, let me answer this question for you. Your reasons might have been anything in this list, but let me tell you, as Kamaraj sir said in his prelude to this session, the last point actually matters. When you might have a lot of reasons to join the service, but if you have a very clear conscience as to the reason why I take up the civil service examination is the main reason. If the main reason the reason you want to take up is that you really want to impact the lives of people, then kindly take up this examination, or kindly reorient your attitude and your thinking process that this examination would be would be really impactful. You can impact the lives of people, and I'm really we are doing it. People who have chosen the services are really impacting lives of people, and that's very much possible. But if you ask me, if all other things in the list aren't there, they come automatically. You don't really have to go after them. They literally come automatically. If there is ample power, I really like. I was able to literally shut down the country's biggest bank, State Bank chairman came and met me because I said I'll close all accounts with SBI. Money, yes, we have a decent income and we have a very good living atmosphere here. I've been given a good bungalow. It might be my childhood dream. The parents' wish are fulfilled. It's a secure job. It's a lot of pride, and I am popular in a few in my place. So these all come automatically. But when you start your civil service examination, if your major, you might have the other things. We're all human, but the major reason why you choose, if there is a bit of element of helping the poor or helping the needy is not there, kindly reorient. And if it doesn't really strike you that it is not really going to feature in your thinking process, I essentially advise that you take up something that suits your personality. So that's the first things first, but then this slide would certainly be kind of imprinted in your minds before you really take up this preparation. And so this is a slide which again makes sense when we do it personally. Can you identify this gentleman? So the person on the right is a very, very popular and a person because he's the only person in the world who has written the national anthem for two countries. So India and Bangladesh.
Rabindranath Tagore?
Absolutely. So I think it's a meeting. So it's Rabindranath. Can you identify the person on the left? So just a trivia,
Sir, he is the brother of Rabindranath Tagore who secured or he cleared the prelims. I mean, he cleared the exam.
Absolutely. So I'm glad that somebody knows it. But I can. So who was that who told this answer? Can I have your name, sir?
Sir, sorry, sir. My name is Ajay, sir.
Ajay. Hi, Ajay. So Ajay has been spot on. Yes. His name is Mr. Satyendranath Tagore. He's not really the brother. I think in my previous presentation I got it wrong. He's like his Rabindranath Tagore is the uncle of this gentleman on the left. So the point here is this. What I wanted to convey through the slide was a very simple point. Almost everybody knows Sir Rabindranath Tagore, isn't it? Every Indian. But how many of, maybe if you like Ajay might know it. But then that's how it is. The popularity or what this service brings with you is quite a transient and a very, it's not as good. If you really want to achieve any of the other things through your work, I think you need to choose a different career. So that's what I wanted to convey this through this slide, because I think Sir Rabindranath Tagore achieved almost everything. And even you could serve the society without taking up the civil services. That's a different thing altogether. But you need not necessarily choose civil services to be a popular person, right? So I always do this in my presentation because, yes, this might not look like blowing my own trumpet, but then you really have to understand that this is what goes through a journey once somebody gets selected for the civil service examination. Especially when you join IAS. So I'll skip this slide. Maybe if somebody knows Tamil, you can follow. This was one of the, rumblings or lamentations of a guy who has just finished MBBS. This was year 2006 when I just finished MBBS. In fact, I did manage to complete my post-graduation in community medicine from PGM Chandigarh. But then after MBBS, everybody thinks you're a doctor. But the person, so I used to say, MBBS முடிச்ச பசங்க தான் வந்து டாக்டர் நினைக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஆனா everybody around you will think they are a doctor. They will suggest numerous for treatment solutions for a lot of ailments. ஆனா நமக்கு தான் நம்ம டாக்டர்னு ஒரு கான்ஃபிடன்ஸே இருக்காரு. So that level of confidence is what I had after MBBS. So why I put this slide is because, yes, though my qualification is all MBBS, MD, big things, I was also somebody who was literally kind of had my own periods, my rough patches where I was literally trying to get into a good career path. So otherwise, nothing much in this slide. So this happened in the month of May in the year 2013. So 2013, yes, this was this is a screenshot I managed to secure. So I secured All India rank 7 that year. So that is the screenshot. So in Tamil, there's a popular movie by the Vaigai Poyal Vadiyal where he says Adisam or appointment order, like that. That was the exact thing on my mind when this came. And we were literally on cloud 9. So once the service comes out, you really have a lot of things. You literally become a celebrity overnight. And yes, as I said, your name and your family's name, your family member's name, everything is splashed on the newspapers. And it was also a moment for me where I gave a tribute to my dad, my late dad, whom I lost last year. So all this happens, and this is all we all go through. And your alma mater is more than happy to invite you as a chief guest, which happened with me as well. And I studied in TVS Lakshmi Matriculation High Secondary School, Madurai. It's a very prestigious institution, and I was there as a chief guest for the annual day. And yes, so this is where the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration is the academy where you get trained for your job once you get into the land up in the services. And that's a metaphorical thing. So we all jump with joy. So yes, you have reached there. And it's literally a wonderful time in every person who gets a place in the civil services. The cultural events, it literally brings back the college days. You have literally fun there. So we took part in a lot of cultural events, and you do unthinkable things. I'm a bit of a plump obese guy. but then I would manage to trek to more than 20,000 feet above the sea level. So this is something like I've reached 20,000. It's a place called Bedni Bugyal, maybe somewhere near Rupkund. Rupkund trek was the trek, and this picture was taken in a place called Bedni Bugyal. This is more than 18,000 feet above main sea level. So we had to trek for more than 5-6 days, and we reached there. And this is all part of the training. You really have to go through this grind and to make you ready for the job. And we had a wonderful time, but then parallelly your academics all matters, and I was the best all-round trainee at the academy, and I got my name also in the roll of honor. So I was to be very honest, in fact, that I'm the only person from Tamil Nadu or the Tamil Nadu cadre whose name features in the roll of honor, the best officer trainee in foundation course. So that was a wonderful moment for me. And in fact, after my training, I improved my rank to number 2. I was the second overall from 7th. I managed to reach there. And what follows for everyone, we managed to meet the first citizen of the country. It was late Shri Pranab Mukherjee, who was the honorable president of the country then. In fact, I had, because of being the topper, I had the opportunity to address the honorable president on behalf of the officer trainees in the prestigious Darbar Hall. So if this, the hall you see in the slide is where the Darbar Hall is where the independent thing was done. That is where the honorable first prime minister of the country made his speech, the independence speech at the stroke of midnight hour. So there was such a prestigious place. We managed to be there. Not just there, I managed to even address the honorable president in the same hall. So that's like, it all comes. I'm literally nobody from a very part of a country from down south, from Madurai, and you reach this place, and absolute honor, to be honest. And right through my journey, I also had the opportunity of presenting a project in front of the honorable prime minister of the country, and having got the best project award when I was assistant secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India. And yes, this was my first ever trip abroad. I represented my country in Y20 summit at Sydney. That was like the youth version of the G20. And life has always been better. Then I became sub-collector in Cheyyar and Thiruvannamalai, a very backward place. And you might have, J Beam, which talks about the ordeals faced by the irregular community. And the place I worked has a lot of irregulars, and whatever has been shown in the movie is absolutely true. So I literally, as sub-collector, we managed to do a lot of things to make their lives better. I issued community certificates to more than 5,000 people in Cheyyar and Dindivanam, where I worked in the second stint. We built a colony for irregulars, 143 houses, pakka houses. You would have seen the houses in JB movie, mud houses, mud huts. But we managed to build pakka houses with all features, amenities, only Anganwadi, community hall, a proper solar-powered light, solar-powered LMA greenhouses. We gave milk cows. We set up a dairy farm. We set up a brick kiln inside. So a lot of things were done in for irregulars in a place called Meesanallur near Vandavasi. In fact, I managed to name it Abdul Kalam Puram in the honor of the late president, Sri Abdul Kalam, because he had this concept of Pura, provision of urban amenities in rural areas. That was a concept we studied during preparation. But then I managed to convert it in my very first stint. In fact, as subdivisional magistrate or sub-collector, we call, it was not about development. It is more of revenue administration and others. But then I ventured into something which was not my original scope of work. But then we managed to do it. And I also managed to do a lot of things where we could impact and uphold the constitution, I would say. So especially the state of Tamil Nadu, along with a few other states, comes to your mind whenever social justice is kind of upheld. And as an official, I was able to do that, because when a temple which did not allow the oppressed community people to enter, I really took a stand, took 100 people inside the temple amidst opposition of the oppressor community. So this happened, and now I think the temple doors are open for everyone there. It was a place called Harihara Pakam in again Cheyyar. So a lot of things we did, and because of my work for irregulars, I got a Public Justice Champion Award in Mumbai. That was the Honorable Governor of Goa who gave away this award for me, and then I joined Chennai Metro Water as the executive director, where I could spend close to 4 years managing among the best water utilities in the country, the Chennai CMWSSB, and it really taught me a lot, and I could really do a lot. We brought out a lot of schemes for better efficient water management and sewage management in Chennai. And the picture is there with the legendary officer, Sri Ashok Shetty IAS, who's now the advisor to the government of Tamil Nadu. So I managed to share stage with him, and to be on the same league of a person like Shetty sir is like something unimaginable. And I did it when I was just barely 4 years into service. So I managed to attend Israel, learn the best of technology from there, attending water conferences. So life went on, and you could choose your own rules. We celebrate Veti Dinam. You can just wear your dhoti to your office, take review meetings. So it's a dream run. And the present Union Government's Finance Secretary, Dr. Somanathan sir, had issued continued letters of appreciation. In fact, he gave me 2 letters of appreciation, appreciating my work at the Metro Water. And subsequently, I became the Karur District Collector. And as many would dream, all those things is possible. You're right from hoisting the flag on the eve of on Independence Day and Republic Day, meeting patients in this corona kit, and addressing girl students, creating schemes for their safety, inspections. It's a dream run, let me tell you. But then a lot of things you can impact. So this literally tells you how you can literally you can use your power to the betterment of people who are in need. So we could really able to redefine the way government services are delivered. The red tape, we literally managed to kind of demolish the red tape. We could give a house to a person who came to us in just one hour. Can you imagine? In 1 hour, a house was allotted. Otherwise, the process might have taken months or even a year or more. So we managed to do it in a year. And the same, we tried to redefine the timeline of services. And a bus which did not get bus service for literally 30 years or 3 decades, in another 3-5 days, we were able to send a bus. The reasons were kind of all bulldozed on. So this is what we could do once you are in the service. And this where the set of slides were not to blow my own trumpet, because that is not the objective I had in mind. The idea is only to tell you that this service you can do a lot, really a lot, and irrespective of what service it is. And the second question I would like to answer is what is civil service examination? Contrary to a lot of things, for starters, it is a mere recruitment exam for 24 services. Some might think a lot of attention, a lot of aura around the exam. It's a simple recruitment exam for 24 services. If you actually look at it in a way, and it is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission, Dolpur House, and it is a 3-stage examination for beginners. It is consisting of 3 stages: preliminary exam, mains exam, and personality test. And I think I did not update it. I think the CSC, the mains exam is underway, in fact. And we have 712 vacancies this year, if I'm not wrong. I think this has not been updated. I'm sorry for that. And the good thing about this exam, this doesn't just end with the 24 services. The final score that features the candidates who manage to clear the mains examination, appear in personality test, is actually shared with the other government departments like Sports Authority of India, other PSUs, and for their recruitment, they actually invite these candidates for their recruitment. So it doesn't really end with the vacancies that are called for in this examination. I'm sorry. Please go. I'm sorry, my daughter is with me. As sir said, this is kindly give me a moment, sir.
Sure, Commissioner. Yeah, I can take it. Always daughters are a gift. Yeah, students, I think you can. So far you listened to Prabhushankar sir.
I'm back, sir. I am sorry.
No problem. Doctors are always a gift, right? So don't. So enjoy it. Enjoy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And sorry to the aspirants.
No problem. No problem. Yeah.
Thank you. So, as I said, the scores of candidates are also used for recruitment into other government departments. Right. Okay. So let me also let us all get into history to make things interesting. How UPSC evolved. As I said, this is among the most the most integral examination, but things did not really start that way. So in fact, this was an examination which was overloaded with nepotism to begin with. So the historical, the notorious East India Company was the company, and they nominated civil servants. So you understand what nomination means. It is like Sonakara, Mama, Maga, Macha, all that people were all put into the job. So that is how civil servants actually were introduced. And then came the famous path-breaking Macaulay report, which called for a complete reform of the Indian education system. And one of the follow-ups to that was the merit-based civil services, which was instituted in the year 1855. As you can see, it is a bit more even before the British Queen took over Indian administration. It is even when East India Company's time, it was all taken up. And the exam, but then just see how exclusive and how restrictive the exam was. The exam took place in London. So it was from 18 years to 23 years. Can you believe? Just 5 years was the window for you to be eligible. And the syllabus included European classics. So it was a merit-based civil service exam in name, but then nepotism was never still up. It favored white men. And Satyendra Tagore was the first Indian. In fact, we showed a picture of the gentleman. In 1864, he broke the shackles. And for your information, Tagore family is a very, very affluent, the most affluent family one could see in Bengal. So it took a person from the most affluent family, maybe in the country even, the most educated and the well-read family in the country to reach there, go through the grind and get triumphant. So it was it was not easy. But then we really have to salute him that he broke for the breakthrough. And 1922, the civil service examination was started in India. It was only in 22, even in India, exams were started to be conducted. 26, the Public Service Commission was started. 35, they named it the Federal Public Service Commission. And only in 1950, the same year, the Indian Constitution came into force. UPSC became an entity in its present form and shape. So the recent changes, I think, again, you would have been, this last decade has been it's been phenomenal. You had too many changes almost every year. Every year, something new has always cropped up. So 2010. So to talk about where I started, I was actually a doctor. MBBS. I've done my MBBS. I've done my MD Community Medicine from PJ Chandigarh in the year 2009. I completed. 2010. I was doing my senior residency there in Chandigarh. That is when I decided to come to Chennai and start my preparation. And I joined medical college as assistant professor. And then I for 2 years I prepared. The first year I couldn't really crack. So the first civil service examination appeared in the 2011 CSE, and in fact that is when the CSAT was introduced. I managed to clear the 2012 CSE, and I was the last batch where there were 2 optional papers of 2 papers each, and there were only 2 general studies papers. So my 2 optional subjects were geography and political science. 2013, it became only one optional subject, and it's been the same till date. There were 4 GS papers that were introduced. 2014, the terms and age limit were raised. 2015, CSAT became a qualifying paper. So when we wrote the examination, the score you got on CSAT actually mattered, and it mattered in your selection for your mains. But now you just really have to pass CSAT with the minimum qualifying score, and your mark in the general studies paper in the prelims only matters for your selection to the next round. 2018, the interview details were shared with the public. 2019, in fact, vacancies were low. In fact, the present examination is a decadal low. In fact, I think it has only 712 vacancies. And future, a lot, you can never ever foresee things. Age limit might occur, the optionals. In fact, the objective of the UPSC to ensure a level playing field for all the aspirants, irrespective of your educational background or whatever. So they would really want to remove the options. I think that would be really there in the long-term game plan of UPSC. So, but then the only thing we need to know is we need to live in the present, and we really need to constantly update. You cannot really follow some guidance based on some old, maybe your aspirant for somebody, even for that matter, even I might not be the person who gives you the latest. I can certainly, this session, as I said, the limitation is it will motivate you. It will tell you what is it all about. But then you really need to talk to an expert. You really need to talk to a good mentor or a person who's currently in preparation to get the latest about the examination. And more importantly, you need to read the notification threadbare. Right. So I was talking about the 24 civil services, and this is a big list. So it is not just it is conveniently said IAS, IPS exam. Beyond that, nobody talks about it. But then the services which are quite popular to everyone is the Indian Foreign Service, the Indian the Indian Revenue Service, and maybe a few services and others. But then others, so you get the opportunity to work in any of these services. When you ask whether other services are as good as the IAS, I would say all these services are important for the administration and governance of this country, and no single service is less. But then there are certainly a few services that get more visibility, that get more kind of where you can directly impact the lives, like IAS, be it IAS, police service, foreign service, or the revenue service. But then let me categorically state that each and every service is unique, and it's been designed to improve to facilitate the administration of the country in the best possible way. Right. So again, this is the stages of civil service examination. This is given the repeated COVID lockdowns. The months of this are subject to constant change. But the usual trend is something like this. The notification comes in the month of February. The prelims happens in June. The mains exams usually happen in September, October. Nowadays, it changes. There's been a change. Now we've all there in January, and the mains is happening. The interview usually happens in the months of February, March, or April to the maximum. And the final result is usually published in the month of April or May. Again, I said this is just an illustrative thing. Such things keep changing given the numerous obstacles we are having for the smooth conduct of UPSC examination. But then prelims, it's 2 papers. This is more for beginners. People who are quite conversant with this can take a break maybe. But then the preliminary examination has 2 papers, general studies and CSAT. CSAT ரெண்டுமே MCQ type, multiple choice questions தான். And mains பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் we have 9 papers. 2 qualifying language papers, 1 essay paper where you need to write 2 essays, 4 GS papers, 2 optional papers of same subject, element descriptive type. And lastly, you have a personality test of 275 marks, and the total is for 2025. So your marks, அதாவது எது கவுண்ட் ஆகும்னா CSATல இருக்கிறது கவுண்ட் ஆகுது. நீங்க மெயின்ஸ் எக்ஸாம்ல எழுதுற லாங்குவேஜ் குவாலிஃபைங் பேப்பர்ஸும் கவுண்ட் ஆகாது. The 1 essay, 4 GS and 2 optional papers and personality test, they all put together, and then you are ranked accordingly. Right. So let us get into the details of each and every stage of the examination. So model stage exam, or the first stage exam, preliminary examination, you can like many in Tamil Nadu or maybe in the country as well. I'm a Dhoni fan, and maybe we'll use Captain Cool Tala Dhoni for kind of guiding us through the exam. So you can see Dhoni sporting the Indian blue. So this is a one-day jersey which we usually wear. So preliminary examination is first screening test only. Let us be very clear. That's a screening test. Marks obtained not to be counted for determining their final order of merit. இதுல வந்து இதுக்கும் சம்பந்தமே இல்லை. So you have 2 papers when it comes to the prelims. Paper 1, இதெல்லாம் I think Kamaraj sir will tell in more detail. I'm just trying to give you basics because I don't want to talk to you without touching these things. So paper 1 will be general studies, and this is counted for qualifying to the mains exam. As I said, it's for 200 marks for 2 hours. Second paper is CSAT, aptitude test of qualifying nature. Idhila more than 33 marks வாங்கினா போதும். 100க்கு 33 வாங்கினா போதும். And the marks are not going to be counted. A person getting 35, a person getting 95, they are treated the same. It doesn't hardly matter. So basically what initially it used to be is CSAT vandanala, the proportion of professional people from professional backgrounds, medicine, engineering and other, and the professional courses background irukavungalukku CSAT was like a cakewalk. So the proportion of people from other like humanities background, it got a big beating. So to ensure a level playing field, the CSAT is now made more of a qualifying nature. But let me confess one thing. My entry, I could clear prelims easily both the times. One reason was CSAT. CSAT is such a literally a cakewalk. So people might think it is a big thing. No, getting 33% is absolutely easy. So general studies is where you will really be tested. So going to the next slide. So Dhoni is in whites. So this is like a test match, literally mains examination. It's like a test match, and it literally tests what a test match actually tests. So it assesses the overall intellectual traits and depth of understanding of candidates rather than merely the range of their information memory. So நீங்கள் காலேஜில் நம்ம எல்லாமே பரீட்சை எழுதியிருப்போம், நிறைய பக்கமாக எழுதுவோம். ஸோ நம்பர் ஆஃப் பேஜஸ் யூ ரேட் வில் பி அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணால் பாஸ் ஆகிடும்னு நினைப்போம். நோ, this is an exam where you cannot get away by filling pages, or you cannot even writing what is actually the answer. அதாவது இதுக்கு ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்குறாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு 2 பக்கம் அது சம்பந்தமா எழுதிட்டா அது நம்ம முடிச்சிட்டோம்னு கிடையாது. It actually, the exam is designed in such a way to assess your overall intellectual traits and the depth of understanding. உங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு புரியுது, நீங்க என்ன தெரியுது அப்படின்றத டெஸ்ட் பண்றதா இந்த எக்ஸாம் உடைய வேலை. It's like a test match. It actually tests your talent. இல்லையா, test match cricketல. So this is where a lot of things happens. And general studies, now you have 4 papers. And you know what, this word is a verbatim taken from the notification for UPSC civil service examination. General studies enna solranga, a well educated person will be able to answer them without any specialized study. So they just make it so simple, trivialize பண்ணி ஒரு definition கொடுக்குறாங்க. A well educated person will be able to answer them without any படிக்கவே வேண்டியதுன்னு சொல்றாங்க. So that is how they say. But then you really have to equip yourself for that general studies. So it tests the general awareness of a variety of subjects which will have relevance for a career in civil service. So tomorrow when you become an IAS officer, so what really, or any officer for that matter, what separates you from the rest is that you really have an overall understanding of a lot of subjects, be it environment, quality. So அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பண்றதுக்கு என்னென்ன சப்ஜெக்ட் மேட்டர்ஸ்ல ஒரு எக்ஸ்பர்டைஸ் வேணுமோ அதெல்லாம் செக் பண்ணணும். So let me tell you, nobody wants you to be an expert in any of the subject. For example, if you choose political science as an optional, it's not that it is because people do political science as a course for 3 years. Yeah, BA political science is a course for 3 years. And so that ways it cannot be MA political science. So it's a bit appadi ukan padikkiradhu, it's not this course. You really have to kind of be prepared and understand the basic contours of that subject. Public administration eduthinga, again the relevance of public administration, and for your civil service administration, to what extent you need, that is what the exam will test. So it will also test the basic understanding of all relevant issues. It doesn't test what you know, it tests what you understand, what you understood out of it, and the ability to analyze. So you just give, and in the ஒரு விஷயத்தை எப்படி நீங்க அனலைஸ் பண்றீங்க, and take a view on conflicting socioeconomic goals, objectives, and demands. So this is what they actually test. They don't test what you know. They don't test how much you remember. They actually test ஒரு விஷயத்தை கொடுத்து அந்த விஷயத்தை உள்வாங்கி how the process பண்ணி நீங்க கொடுக்கக்கூடிய விஷயத்தை தான் டெஸ்ட் பண்றாங்க. They don't really. So it is like no blind rote learning will never take you. So it needs much more than just reading. You really need to kind of become a good processor. நீங்க நல்ல ப்ராசஸரா இருக்கணும். ஸோ நம்ம ஸ்கிரீன் காஸ்டிங் சொல்லியிருப்போம் இல்லையா, இட் இஸ் நாட், யூ ரியலி ஹேவ் டு நீங்க கோடிங் பண்ணி அதை கம்ப்ளீட்டா அதை வந்து ஒரு இதுவா மாத்துறது தான் உங்க வேலை. இட் இஸ் லைக் யூ that level of thing is actually needed. But then let me tell you, it comes with practice. When you are there in it will come. And at the end of the day, for 9th exam, what you're required to write is relevant, meaningful, and succinct answers. அதாவது தென்னை மரத்தை பத்தி கேட்டா பசுமாட்டை பத்தி கட்டுரை கேட்டா தென்னை மரத்தை பத்தி எழுதிட்டு பசுமாட்டை தென்னை மரத்தின் கீழ் கட்டுவோம்னு சொல்லி ஒரு நம்ம சைல்ட்ஹுட் ஜோக் இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரிலாம் எழுதக்கூடாது. ரெலவெண்டா டு த பாயிண்ட் we have to write, and it should be meaningful, no writing pages of crap, and succinct to the point. Answer in 150 words, it needs to be in 150, 149 or 150 words. Dot. 250 words, it needs to be in 249, 250 words. nobody's going to give you for writing 300 words, and it has to be, in fact, that will be negatively, that will go negative for you, right? So papers, again, I'll just say it is like, you really have to qualifying papers rendu eludano. One in English, the other paper is in fact a language paper from any of your list of 8 schedule. So 22 languages will be there. You can choose any. If you are from Tamil Nadu and you are Tamil Nadu, நீங்க ஹிந்தி எழுதணும்னாலும் எழுதலாம், தமிழ் எழுதணும்னாலும் எழுதலாம். It doesn't really matter. You can choose a language of your choice. Papers for merit, in fact, this is where you need to focus. The paper one is essay. In fact, I think you would have seen the topics which were viral, kind of viral yesterday. If you are an aspirant and if you are already in it, you would have seen the questions that were there in the essay. So essay na நம்ம நினைக்கிற மாதிரி சாதாரண இந்த essay மாதிரிலாம் இருக்காது. It will be a very interesting essay. I'm not sure whether I managed to save it on my mobile, but I think Kamaraj sir can tell you more about it. But then ரெண்டு essay எழுதணும், ரெண்டு இதில். But then they will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay, to arrange their ideas in an orderly manner, write concisely. Credit will be given for effective and exact expression. So that is how it is. Next, பார்த்தீங்கன்னா paper 2 general studies, second paper, மாத்திட்டேன், first paper, second paper, that's okay. So Indian heritage and culture, world history, world and Indian geography, social issues. Paper 3 பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் governance, constitution, political system, social justice, international relation. Paper 4, technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security. Paper 5, ethics, integrity and administrative aptitude. Last, from paper 6, optional paper 1, paper 7, optional paper 2, totally for 1,750 marks. I sincerely believe this is the latest, but let me tell you, this is not the holy grail. You have to really go to the current year's civil service examination notification to confirm. As I said, this is more of a indicative and a guidance session. So the accuracy, kindly do not quote me. Kindly look into the authentic notification issued on the website of UPSC for the latest on the syllabus or all these things. Next part, நீங்க மெயின்ஸ்ல எழுதக்கூடிய நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி எவ்வளவு வேகன்சிஸ் இருக்கோ, இப்போ 712னா 2.5 times of it. So around 1,800 people will be chosen for the personality test. அதுல they will be, அதனுடைய it's like a T20, whether you are suitable. நீ வந்து கிரிக்கெட் விளையாட லாயக்கானவனா, அந்த மாதிரி சொல்றது, நீ ஒரு பிளேயராக லாயக்கானவனா அப்படின்னு. So you really assess the suitability to the civil services looking at you. And then in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, in my case, it was 50 minutes. So on that time, they will literally assess you, your attitude, whether you have the right attitude for the exam. And it is literally, these days, it's become a make or break. Your score in the personality test has become a really decisive factor for your final selection. So you really have to attach a lot of importance, but then you really don't have to worry about it right now. In fact, in my own personal experience, I really even started to prepare only after I cleared the mains examination. That is how it is. So you can always reserve it, but then what you can do is you can really try to build your personality for over the next during the course of your preparation. Right. Next one, the third question is about who can write the examination. You really need to be a citizen of India to take up these three services: IAS, IFS, IPS. But there are others for all other services. Apart from being a citizen of India, you could also be subjects of these countries: Nepal, Bhutan, or even a Tibetan refugee. So age பார்த்த வரைக்கும், again, this is subject to the latest confirmation by Kamaraj sir. Will tell you more on this. Age generally 21 years to 32 years, and there is relaxation for others. Dependingly, again, you can confirm it for your particular community. So when it comes to Government of India, there is only either you're a general category, you're an OBC, or a SC and ST. So the number of attempts for a general category, you have only 6 attempts. For OBC, you have 9. For SC, ST, you have unlimited. Educational qualification, very simply, you need to have a undergraduate degree in a recognized institution, which is affiliated to a recognized university. It could be even distant learning. There have been toppers in civil service who have done their education from through distance learning mode. So that is how it is. So Right. So again, we come to the how part of the civil service examination. So this is a very popular meme template in Tamil Nadu. So much of you, I believe, might be from Tamil, and you can see two prominent, the prominent comedian of Tamil Nadu, Badivelu here. Get to understand some are from the north and some of the audience are from Andhra. So where Brahmanandam is a big name. Vadivelu is a big name in Tamil Nadu, and most of the Tamils who are joined will know. The joke is also a very popular joke. இங்கு நல்ல மீன்கள் விற்கப்படும். So how to crack civil service examination through a meme, I would like to say. So whether you have to work hard, whether you have to work for it, absolutely. படுத்துக்கிட்டே ஜெயிக்கிறதுக்கு நம்ம இவர் கிடையாது, புரட்சி தலைவர் கிடையாது. So you have to really work hard. You have to work. Second, work மட்டும் பண்ணா போதுமா? No, you really have to work hard. So let me take an example of traveling from all the way from, let's say, Madurai to Chennai. ஸோ மதுரை டு சென்னை போகணும், நடந்து போகிறோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. கண்டிப்பாக நடக்கணும் இல்லையா? நடக்கணும். அண்ட் இட் ஹேஸ் டு பி ஹார்ட் ஒர்க். இட் கேனாட் பி ஜஸ்ட் ஒர்க், சும்மா பேருக்கு நடந்துட்டு அப்படி அவ்வளோ. யூ ஹேவ் டு ஒர்க் ஹார்ட். கஷ்டப்பட்டு நடந்து போகணும். சரி, அப்படியே போனால் போதுமா? அதாவது நீங்கள் மதுரைக்குலேருந்து சென்னைக்கு போகணுன்னா, இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் டு கோ ஃப்ரம் மதுரை டு சென்னை, யூ ஹேவ் டு டேக் தி ஹைவே தட் லீட்ஸ் யூ ஃப்ரம் மதுரை டு சென்னை. It cannot be like you go to நீங்க கன்னியாகுமரி போற ஹைவேல போனீங்கன்னா கீழே தான் போவீங்க, ஆர் இந்த பக்கம் வந்தீங்கன்னா you will go only to கோயம்புத்தூர். So you have to take a highway which takes you. So it has to be a systematic hard work. You really have to be a systematic hard work. And then you just cannot travel from Madurai to Chennai by just taking the road. NH7 மட்டும், NHல மட்டும் போகலான்னு நினைச்சா போயிட முடியுமா? கண்டிப்பாக முடியாது. You have to plan your journey. எங்கே எவ்வளோ எடுத்துகிட்டு போகணும், நடந்து போகிறோம் இல்லை காரில் போகிறோம் அப்படின்னா பெட்ரோல் போடணும். பெட்ரோல் பட்டம் போட்டால் பத்தாது. அப்புறம் இடையில எங்கே சாப்பிட போகிறோம், எப்போ ட்ராவல் பண்ண போகிறோம், எப்போ ஸோ யூ ஹாவ் டு டூ அ லாட் ஆஃப் பிளான். ஸோ in one, the work has to be defined by 3 distinct adjectives: planned, systematic, hard work. So if you remember this mantra, if you are not doing any of this, and then it means that you have missed something. And one thing which I again missed here is smart work. It's not just hard work. You really have to be smart. You really have to be kind of smart in your approach. Just hard work alone will not pay. Even if it pays, it will be like a very difficult thing. You would have heard this very famous quote of Thomas Alva Edison. I invented 10,000. I have not failed, but I have discovered 10,000 ways of not that don't work. அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவார் பல்பு கண்டுபிடிச்சதுக்கு. There are a lot of theories, fan warsலாம் இருக்கும், Nikola Tesla and Thomas Alva Edison. Let me not go into the politics of that. But then just limiting myself to that point, that is not a very wise way, isn't it? Why should you fail 10,000 times to actually find the thing right way? If you were smarter, we could have done it with much lesser attempts. 10,000 வாட்டி ஃபெயில் ஆகி பண்றது that's not something to be proud of. Then that means you have not been smarter, you've been dumb. You don't have to do that. You really have to be smart. And planned, systematic, smart hard work is what will help you to crack civil service examination. I would have kind of made an oversimplification for you, but then this is certainly the way. And how to prepare, again, it's a very, very or a mild or a small introduction. It is not going to tell you everything, but the first step, if you are an aspirant or if you really IAS பத்தி தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், இந்த எக்ஸாம் பத்தி தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், சிவில் சர்வீஸ் எக்ஸாம் பத்தி தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், இதை பத்தி என்னென்ன நினைச்சிட்டு வந்திருக்கக்கூடிய aspirants, it is very important. First step, know about the exam thoroughly. இந்த எக்ஸாமை பத்தி என்னது, ஏன்னா நம்ம என்னமோ நினைச்சு வருவோம், ஆனா உள்ளுக்குள்ள வேற ஏதாவது கூட இருக்கலாம். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் கைண்ட்லி நோ அபவுட் த எக்ஸாம் thoroughly. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் என்னன்னா நோட்டிஃபிகேஷனை ஃபுல்லா படிக்கணும். இந்த வருஷத்துக்கான நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் will be there on the, and don't even go for other websites. You go for upsc.gov.in, download the notification for the year and read it completely. அப்பயே உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பாதி பேர் வெளியே போயிடுவாங்க. அது இதை யாடா படிக்க போறோம் பயந்து போறது. I'm not trying to scare you away, but they will decide that okay, this is not my cup of tea. So first of all, you still think I have to go, even for then you need to read the notification thoroughly from A to Z. You really have to do it completely. And next thing you do whenever you want to know about the exam thoroughly is learn from experts and veterans. So when I say expert, it's like experts and mentors like Kamaraj sir. அவங்கள்ட்ட கொஞ்சம் கேட்டுக்கங்க, என்ன எக்ஸாம் எப்படி என்ன பண்ணணும், எப்படி பண்ணணும், எதை சூஸ் பண்ணணும், எப்படிலாம் படிக்கணும். ஸோ பேசிக் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்க்கு. அண்ட் veterans, I mean people who have been into this preparation, job of preparation for quite some time, who can guide you. But then after all that, you also have to take an independent opinion. And first things first, many people would have said, but again, it might sound cliche, but there is no other way how you prepare. The first thing is reading newspapers. Now life has become much simpler. People have literally managed, there are a lot of material on the web which has literally distilled information for you. But when you start, I think I will not recommend against using such distilled where people have filtered out your juice, ready-made juice, Tetra Pak juice குடிக்கிறது தப்புன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன். But I would first urge people who are at least starting afresh to read newspapers, to have the apple full. நீங்க ஆப்பிள் ஜூஸ் வந்து ட்ராபிக்கான ஆப்பிள் ஜூஸ் குடிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு ஆப்பிளை ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷாக சாப்பிட்டு பழகணும். அதுக்கு நியூஸ் பேப்பர் ஃபுல்லாக படிக்கணும். ரீட் நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ஸ். If you're a beginner and if you have never ever attempted to read newspaper, or the maximum you would have read a newspaper like the Hindu is for the second last page sports column தவிர எதுவும் படிக்காத ஆளாக இருந்தால், you should first understand how to read newspapers. I think people like mentors will guide you, but very importantly, you first read almost everything in every single line in the newspaper to start with. And I bet you 90% of the content you will not understand. 90% of the content you will not understand, or it will be complete. It will be a complete alien thing to you. So now you have Google. You really have to Google each and everything. For example, if you take the economy column, you will have phrases which like a bank repo rate, RBI idu pannitaanga, adu pannitaanga. You will have some very distinct jargon. But then try to read. Let me tell you, after 30 days. The same stuff comes again and again, and you would be really adept at reading newspaper. When you start reading the newspaper for the first day, it will be 4 hours or 5 hours even for some. And in 30 days, it dramatically comes down to 2 hours or even less. Then, so newspaper reading and then trying to take notes out of it is how you start. So how I used to read is, literally I will use to underline newspapers. In English Hindu padiche, you can choose a newspaper of your choice, Indian Express or whichever, a standard quality newspaper. So what it does is, apart from the facts and a lot of new things which you learn, it also improves your language. Yes, a language is certainly a skill, may not be the most important skill, but certainly a skill that is needed for your personality development nevertheless. So it's a very important soft skill, be it written and reading or your language, your vocabulary. So reading newspapers does a world of good to all of that. So as I said, drinking Tropicana juice is not really bad, but Tropicana apple juice, but then you really also have to eat the apple in full, especially when you are venturing into civil service preparation. And then again, the next thing again might sound very cliche. NCERT books are the books to begin with, and the first ever book which I will recommend is the Indian Constitution at Work. That will literally be the first. It's like the Agara Mudala Eduthallam madri first kurale madi. The first thing which you choose to read is the NCERT books, Indian Constitution at Work, and that will literally, I distinctly remember the cartoons. Nariya cartoons irukum, nariya adula vande cartoons of the legendary R.K. Lakshman's cartoons will all be there, where one of the cartoons is where the father of the Indian Constitution, Ambedkar, sits on a snail, and Nehru having a hold in hand. It's a wonderful book to start with. And a lot of basic books. Again, I think I'm not going to dwell deep on it, because I think the Kamaraj sir can guide you on that. And the next most important thing is the choosing the right optional subject. So you have a huge list of optional subjects. Syllabus ellame kuduthirupanga. This is where I think many people also have doubts. So I will tell you what it is about. So choosing the optional subject, you'll be from an engineering background, and in the engineering subjects nariya irukum. மெடிக்கல் பேக்ரவுண்டில் இருப்பீங்க, மெடிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் இருக்கும். நீங்கள் சில சமயம் யூ மைட் ஹேவ் பீன் ஆக்சுவலி என் எம்ஏ பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும், எம்ஏ பப்ளிக் அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் படிச்சிருப்பீங்க, இப்போ பேட் இருக்கும். Yes, it makes your life much simpler, but that is not the only thing that should determine what optional subject you choose. The other major factors which are, number one, the subject is high scoring. So இப்போ நீங்க இந்த இது these are the most common optional subjects in again this is a old presentation, so it is not updated, but then I think the trend remains the same. 2016 பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் the top 5 or the top 10 so 30 optional subjectsல நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா geography, sociology, pub-bad, history, political science, international relations. So இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 5 அப்படியே மாறிக்கிட்டே இருக்கும். It is not a very constant, it's like the batting rankings of ICC. And the top 5 இருக்காங்களே, but they are the fabulous 5. Virat Kohli, so Steve Smith, Joe Root, Kane Williamson, and 5th David Warner or somebody. So இந்த மாதிரி தான் இந்த 5 சப்ஜெக்டும். இந்த 5 சப்ஜெக்ட் தான் யூபிஎஸ்சிக்கு தோன்ற காலத்துல இருந்து டாப்பர்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய 5 சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ். And this is so why there is a reason why it is the most common optional subject. ஏன்னா இதுக்கு தான் வந்து நிறைய கோச்சிங் சென்டர்ஸ் இருக்கும், நிறைய பேர் இதுக்கு தான் மெட்டீரியல் எக்கச்சக்கமாக அவைலபிளாக இருக்கும், அண்ட் there will be high scoring. So that is one thing which you have to say. I chose geography and political science. I'll tell you the reasons why I chose it after I finish the various factors. So this list, I think this is an indicative list again. This year the list would have been ordered, but by and large the top 5 always remain the top 5, the fab 5 subjects. But then I will not recommend any of these optional subjects blindly. You have to first go through the complete list of, நீங்க for example தமிழ் லிட்ரேச்சர்னா என்னமோ நினைச்சிருப்பீங்க, இல்லைன்னா நீங்க வந்து இப்போ zoology அப்படின்னா you might be thinking something, but you really have to look into the syllabus to understand how it is. And you also see how many people have actually chosen and how many people got into service taking up these subjects. It would have been much lesser. That is, there are unique reasons for it. The most important aspect of preparation for civil services is the kind of a fellowship, or what do you say, the discussion. So இப்போ நீங்க if you are the only person who has chosen, let us say, zoology, நீங்க ஒரு you have a study circle where 10 or 20 people are kind of preparing together, and if you have chosen a subject, you will actually hardly have any peer group to discuss even your basics. So that is another reason that constantly it's like a virtuous cycle or a vicious cycle, whichever way you take it. It's a virtuous cycle. So the more and more இது அது அப்படியே பெருசாயிட்டே போகும். So there are இது எல்லாமே outliers. So as you can see, except 5 subjects எல்லாமே 3 digitsல தான் இருக்கு. So and 2 digitsல பாத்தீங்கன்னா நிறைய இருக்கு. So this is how it is. So try to choose a subject which is quite popular because you have peer groups to discuss. The other major reason why these subjects, 5 subjects, are in the top is because the core of general studies subjects are from these 5 subjects. இப்போ geography, sociology, pub-bad, history, political science, international relationsல இருந்து தான் உங்களுடைய கம்ப்ளீட்டா ஜெனரல் ஸ்டடீஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய மேஜர் தீம்ஸ் will be featuring. So that is one other reason these all will be featuring. So I told you the various factors of choosing optional subjects, but the one thing that will always decide is what you like. There might be some subjects which may look good, but ஆனா கடைசியில ஏன்னா நீங்க தான் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண போறீங்க, நீங்க தான் பரிசு எழுத போறீங்க. ஸோ நீங்க பிடிக்காத ஒரு சப்ஜெக்ட் எடுத்துட்டு சரி சொல்றாங்களேன்னு படிச்சு வச்சுட்டு தலைவலியா இருக்கக்கூடாது. அதாவது ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், not everybody who is a civil engineer might actually be good in civil engineering. ஏதோ படிச்சு பாஸ் பண்ணி வந்திருப்போம், பட் ஆனா some people might have a very genuine liking for the subject and you might be too good at it. அந்த மாதிரி நீங்க ஒரு யூனிக் டேலண்டோட, ஒரு யூனிக் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்கோட இருக்க சப்ஜெக்ட் உங்களுக்கு. இதனால ஸோ பேசிக்கலா நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 5 சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் எடுக்கிற ஒரு நோக்கம் என்னன்னா, நீங்க தனியா டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ண வேண்டியதில்லை. இப்போ நான் என்னோட ரீசன் நான் சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, ஜியாகிரபி, பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் எடுத்தேன். 2 ரீசன். ஐ ஹேட் வெரி 2 குட் டீச்சர்ஸ். பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் வந்து காமராஜ் சார் சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க, ஜியாகிரபிக்கு சத்யமூர்த்தி சார் சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க. ஸோ தேவர் வெரி குட் டீச்சர்ஸ் அண்ட் தே ஆஃபர்ட் தீஸ் 2 subjects. It was so good for me. So that was one reason why I chose. The second reason I chose, so I have done MBBS, I have done MD community medicine, so I do everything about, so it was tempting for anyone to go for medical science. But I thought, This is, as I said, the success rate of the examination, even for you, me, anybody, is hardly 0.1 to 0.3%, and for IAS 0.03. So I decided if I don't end up in the service, at least I would have been acquainted with two unique subjects which were never really close to what I've graduated from. So that was another important reason. And the third important reason, especially for people who are working like me, let me tell you how I prepared. I worked in a medical college as assistant professor, 8:30 to 4 o'clock in the evening. Then I had a private practice. I also did some courses in family medicine and diabetology. I was a family physician and a diabetologist. I had a clinic running from 4 மணிக்கு முடியும், ஈவினிங் வந்து 5:30 to 7:30 I had a clinic, and then இன்னொரு இடத்துல 8 to 9 I had a clinic. So this was my schedule. And weekends I had only second and fourth Saturday off. All Sundays were free for me relatively. So இந்த கேப்ல நான் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணணும். So I had to minimize my time spent for optional subjects. So when I chose geography and political science, it was easy for me to எக்ஸ்க்ளூசிவ் டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ண வேண்டியதில்லை. இதில் படித்தாலே ஜிஎஸ்க்கும் வந்துடும். இதுவே நீங்கள் டோட்டலி அவுட் ஆஃப் த இது நீங்கள் எடுத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, லெட்டஸ் தமிழ் எடுக்க வேணாம்னு சொல்லலை, என்னோட பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ் மட்டும் சொல்கிறேன். இப்போ சிவில் இன்ஜினியரிங் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா, சிவில் இன்ஜினியரிங்க்குன்னு சொல்லி தனியாக இதில் எதுவுமே சம்மந்தப்படாது, புதுசாக அதுக்கு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணணும். So these are the factors which determine. But choosing the optional subject is a very important step in your preparation for civil service examination. Kindly spend a lot of time and thought in this step. Get the help of mentors. Ultimately, as I said, you take the final call after assessing all this. ஏன்னா என்னதான் இதெல்லாம் நல்ல ஸ்கோரிங் சப்ஜெக்ட் அப்படின்னா, பிடிக்காத சப்ஜெக்ட் எடுத்துட்டு கஷ்டப்படக்கூடாது. நாளைக்கு இதை எடுத்து படிச்சிருக்கலாமே. ஏன்னா try to avoid changing subjects in your second year. Like you should start your preparation believing that you get selected in the first year. Second year மாத்தி இன்னொரு சப்ஜெக்ட், மூணாவது வாட்டி ப்ரிப்பரேஷன்ல இந்த மாதிரி பண்றது, you will rolling stone will gather no moss. So kindly do not resort to it. So spend some time, choose it, and then try to go for it. But then there might be exceptions. You can always change your optional subject midway or in the subsequent attempts, but that should be an exception, not the norm. Right. The next one, I just said it's planned, systematic, smart, hard work. I left the word smart. It was not smart of me to not include smart. And then the most important thing is time management. Again, to illustrate from my own example, I just told you how many hours of work I used to have during my preparation. I used to work, and I was married, but my wife was in another station. She was doing her post-graduation. She's a surgeon. She was doing her MS in general surgery from Tirunelveli. So I had some personal time. Otherwise, I had to go travel. Even some weekends, I had to go be there. So it was a very, very narrow time slot. But then I really had a passion for this civil services that really helped me. So the crux of it is people literally சொல்றதே பெருமையா சொல்லிக்குவாங்க. நான் வந்து ஒரு நாளைக்கு 14 hours பண்றேன், 16 மணி நேரம் படிக்கிறேன், தவம் மாதிரி படிக்கிறேன், அப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படி இப்படின்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க, விடாம படிக்கிறேன். Yes, if you're able to manage a lot of time for it, well and good. But what really matters is the quality of time spent. It doesn't really matter whether you put 2 hours or 20 hours in a day for preparation, but whatever time you put for this should be absolute quality. When you spend 2 hours or 4 hours per day, and the 4 hours the efficiency of what you imbibe from your reading or from your various activity, your reading or from your learning should be really impactful. So time management is very, very crucial, and some people usually kind of get into a cocoon or get caught in the web. அதெல்லாம் பண்ண வேண்டியதே இல்லை. நல்லா என்ஜாய் பண்ணி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணணும், அண்ட் நல்ல டைம் கரெக்டாக மேனேஜ் பண்ணி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணணும். Then individuality. So the other thing I would like to say in this time management is, a lot of people will believe some people will be actually getting some six digit salaries லாம் விட்டுட்டு இது ஃபுல்லாக படிச்சாதான் கிடைக்க முடியும். No, it is not true. People, it is from my own example, I say I had a very, very tight schedule, but I was able to crack, and even age, I cracked only at the age of 30 because I started much late. I started at the age of 27, 28. In no time, I was able to crack. So, ஜாப் விட்டுட்டு உட்காந்து படிக்கணும், வீட்டில் இருக்க அப்படிலாம் பண்ணவே கூடாது. அதுவும் உங்களுக்கு 27-28 வயசுலாம் ஆயிடுச்சு, 7-8 வயசுலாம் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா கண்டிப்பாக விட்டுட்டு படிக்கக்கூடாது. You should really, you might have responsibilities, you might have financial commitments, so kindly don't, and in fact it takes your pressure off you. because you're already in your job அப்படின்றப்ப நீங்க டைம் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் கரெக்டாக பண்ணீங்கன்னா ப்ரெஷர் இருக்காது. இல்லைன்னா நீங்க எல்லாத்தையும் விட்டுட்டு உங்களுக்குமே எக்கனாமிக்கலி இட் வில் பி வெரி வெரி டாக்ஸிங் ஃபார் யூ அண்ட் இட் வில் மே டேக் அ டோல் ஆன் யுவர் ஃபேமிலிஸ் ஃபினான்சஸ் as well. So don't have to really think that you really have to spend time all the time in the day for this. No, as long as you spend quality time for your preparation every day, if you're able to devote some day or maybe a number of hours in a week, whichever way you can, it is still possible. And the next most important thing, you really have to stand out in the crowd. Stand out na roomku veliya illa, அந்த க்ரௌட்ல நீங்க யூனிக்கா டிஸ்டிங்கா தெரியணும். நீங்க உங்களோட இண்டிவிஜுவாலிட்டியை கண்டிப்பா இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் டெஸ்ட் பண்ண போறாங்க. அதாவது நீங்க எல்லாரும் ஒரே புக் தான் படிக்கிறோம், எல்லாரும் அதே சப்ஜெக்ட் தான் படிக்கிறோம், எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரே கேள்விதான். ஆனா அதை எப்படி விளையாடுறீங்க? எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரே மாதிரி தான் கிரிக்கெட் கோச் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருப்பாரு சின்ன வயசுல. ஆனா ஹெலிகாப்டர் ஷாட்டு தோனி, அது அவருடைய இண்டிவிஜுவல் ஷாட்டு. ராகுல் டிராவிடோட கவர் டிரைவ், சச்சினோட ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் டிரைவ், அப்பர் கட்டு, சில விஷயங்கள்லாம் நம்ம மறக்க. ஸோ தட் டிஃபைன்ஸ் தர் இண்டிவிஜுவாலிட்டி. இட் இஸ் சம்திங் விச் டிஃபைன்ஸ் தெம், isn't it? So that is what is actually required. You may everything will give runs இல்லையா, என்ன அடிச்சாலும் 4 அடிக்கலாம், ஆனா இவங்க அடிக்கிற அந்த so that is what the person who is kind of assessing you in this examination, right from prelims-ல அது பெருசா அது வேலை இல்லை, MCQ தான். செகண்ட் அண்ட் தேர்ட் ஸ்டேஜஸ், the mains examination இருக்கட்டும், personality test இருக்கட்டும், உங்களோட இண்டிவிஜுவாலிட்டி, ஒரே கேள்விக்கு நீங்க தனித்துவமா எப்படி பதில் சொல்றீங்க. So when a question is asked, they don't want to write an answer based on the facts you have learned. They want an answer how you as an individual has understood the problem or understood the issue, and you are giving a solution or giving your answer in your own unique way. This is not easy. Some people might get it very quite naturally, individuality இருக்கும். பட் இதை நீங்க ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரே பேப்பர்ல தான் படிப்பீங்க, ஒரே இஷ்யூல நீங்க ஹிந்து எடிட்டோரியல் என்ன சொன்னான்னு அப்படியே மிக்ஸ் பண்ணி எழுதிடக்கூடாது. நீங்க அதை எப்படி கொண்டு போறீங்க, அந்த இதை எப்படி அப்ரோச் பண்றீங்க, அதுதான். ஸோ இட் கம்ஸ் பை ப்ராக்டிஸ். It takes a lot of time for some. It comes so or naturally for some. But then that is what UPSC is looking for from you. It is not some stereotype answer. And the last thing is very very important. After all these things which I told you and overloaded you with, there are only 2 C's that are required. Even this work, IAS இருக்கணும்னாலே, இப்போ கலெக்டரா இருக்கணும்னாலே பெரிய அறிவே தேவையில்லை, பெருசா அதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை. ரெண்டே விஷயம், காமன் சென்ஸ். காமன் சென்ஸே நம்மள்ட்ட நிறைய பேர்கிட்ட இல்லை. We don't have that is the biggest thing which is lacking in our generation, I would say. Common sense, that is more than enough, but it has to come with commitment. So when I say commitment, that literally takes care of a lot of issues. நீங்க கமிட்டடா ஒரு வேலைக்கு இருந்தீங்கன்னா அந்த வேலைக்கு என்னென்ன தேவை, எப்படி பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா வந்துடும். So this is in a very very oversimplified thing of how to prepare. But then it's a journey, and it's not just a destination. You really have to do this over and over, even after joining service, right? So I told this, right? So where to prepare? That's a question a lot might have in minds. I have always made it my policy to never recommend any institutions, because that doesn't that kind of what to say, that defeats the idea that I'm an unbiased. I really have but then I have to say where I prepared and who helped me in my preparation. So the picture, I know, I hope everybody knows, this is the former Honorable Chief Minister Perindalvar Kamaraj. And the thing I would like to say from my personal experiences, I had 2 wonderful teachers, and Kamaraj sir was one among them. In fact, I owe my success to civil service examination to both these gentlemen and to Kamaraj sir. And he has been taking up he has taken up the task of training people for the job, and a lot of candidates have come out successfully to his academy. And Chennai is a wonderful place now, where there is a wonderful ecosystem to prepare. But then, having said that, so I really have regards for sir, and it will be wonderful if you can really choose to join his academy and get his services. So it's not about recommending somebody for the academy, but then he is a wonderful teacher. Kindly don't miss him. I would like to put it that way. But then if you still have your own ideas, and if you have made up your mind, Chennai is a wonderful place to sit. It has a wonderful ecosystem. So they used to say once upon a time, Delhi la the institutes irukum, there will be some specific areas ஃபார் திஸ் ராஜேந்திர நகர் அந்த மாதிரி நகர்ல தான் அந்த டீ கடை வச்சிருக்கவங்க கூட நிறைய பேசுவாங்க. கிட்டத்தட்ட அண்ணா நகர் has become like that. Anna Nagar is now a place in Chennai where even the hotel person or the person who serves food in a eatery will ask you, தம்பி என்ன ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் எடுத்திருக்கீங்க, ஏன் அதில் இப்பெல்லாம் மார்க்கே வர்றது இல்லையே அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொல்ற அளவுக்கு டீ கடை மாஸ்டர்ல இருந்து அவங்க கூட சொல்லுவாங்க. So it's a very Chennai has now become kind of a hub. So but then you can always also sit at home and prepare. Given a lot of online things happen, it is not necessarily that you even come out of your homes. It is also okay. People have even cracked exams without even any formal support or training. But then why, as I said, smart work பண்ணா நமக்கு பல விஷயங்கள் நடக்கும். So try to choose a mentor, try to choose a good support, a person who trains you for this examination, and you can come out trumps in the examination, right? So when to start? I think the date which is shown, when it is. It's not next year or the next month, or it's today. If you are really keen and if you're really convinced that yes, this is a career path I'm gonna take, I think the day to start is 9/1/2022, which is today. And lastly, this is a very important slide which I'd like to tell everyone. UPSC-நாலே ஸோ அதனால இப்போ நிறைய பேர் வந்திருக்கிறதுல lot of doubts will be there. This again, things look oversimplified. But one important thing is this preparation should literally be a purification process. Shuddhi அப்படிம்பாங்க. ஸோ லிட்ரலி இது வந்து உங்களுடைய because you learn a lot of things and you are not an ignorant person anymore. You're and the darkness எல்லாமே மைண்ட்ல இருந்து இன்னும் lot of things, new things, good things about your country, about your people, அவங்க எல்லாமே. And என்ன ஆகும் இந்த கோர்ஸ் ஆஃப் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன், because lot of things happen around you. You'll have familial pressures, you'll be having your love interests which may நீங்க கிராக் ஆகாதனால பல விஷயங்கள், ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்ஸ் இதாகும், எல்லாம் இருக்கும். I think it's all summed up in the meme. But one thing, enjoy your preparation என்ஜாய் பண்ணா மட்டும்தான். பிகாஸ் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் எடுத்துட்டு இதையே ஒரு இதுவாக எடுத்துட்டா a lot of people have broken down. That is not the reason. It is an UPSC civil service examination is not the only thing in the world. Let us be very clear. You should have a plan B, and you should try your best. You should give it your best shot. But kindly do not decide that this is the only thing in this whole world. அது பண்ணீங்கன்னா it is going to make your life hell, and it should not be a self-inflicted punishment on oneself. So with these words and with the final slide, this is what it's been words of the former Prime Minister of the UK, Sir Winston Churchill. He might not be a very popular person here in the country, but then this is what he said. You really have to look into the words and not just the person as such, I would say. He said this, and I think this there cannot be a phrase or a quote that is more relevant than this one for civil service examination. Success is not final, so that is not something. So it's a journey. It's a journey, not a destination. And failure is not fatal. Let us be very, very clear about it. Failure, especially in exams, is not fatal. It is nothing. Okay, you've done it. You can be disappointed for a day, 2. That's it. Then may either go for this next attempt or just forget it. Go for plan B in your career. A lot of things beyond this. And as I said, for this, as long as you decide to continue, it is the courage to continue that counts. So this is the most relevant quote I would say I found for the civil service examination. And with these words, I think I come to the end of my presentation, and it's been thank you. I think there has been no interruptions, and the last time I had an online session, there were a lot of some people are hacked into the system and all, but you've been a wonderful audience. I really thank you all for your patient hearing, and I will be happy to have any questions if you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhushankar, so for your patience, and you said a lot of things, right? I'm happy about that.
Thank you, sir.
And Suresh Krishna, I think you raised your hand. Do you have any doubts about it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can ask the subject.
Sir, BSc Agri படிச்சேன்.
சொல்லுங்க சுரேஷ்.
ஹலோ சார்.
Yes, Suresh, I can hear you.
சார் நான் இப்போ பிஎஸ்சி அக்ரி படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன் சார் SRM.
Okay.
சார் நான் இப்போ லாஸ்ட் 1 இயரா நான் யூபிஎஸ்சி நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறப்ப யூபிஎஸ்சி நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் சிலபஸ் கம்ப்ளீட்டாக பார்த்தேன் சார்.
ஓகே.
இப்போ நான் அக்ரி படிக்கிறதுனால என்னோட சிலபஸ்ல என்னோட கோர்சஸே சில ஜியோகிராஃபி ஓரியன்டா, சாயில் சயின்ஸ் சம்திங் இது மாதிரி இன்டர்லிங்க் ஆகும் சார். படிக்கிறேன் சார்.
சரி.
டவுட் என்னன்னா நான் பேசிக்கா ஃபவுண்டேஷன்ல வந்து என்சிஆர்டி புக்ஸ் படிக்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணேன் சார். 6th to 12th பாலிட்டி.
கொஞ்சம் சத்தமா பேசுங்கப்பா சுரேஷ்.
சார் ஹலோ சார், கேக்குதா சார்? அதான் சார் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டார்டிங்ல சிலபஸ் படிச்சு முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் பேட்டர்ன்லாம் தெரிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் பேசிக் ஃபவுண்டேஷனா என்சிஆர்டி படிக்கலாம்னு சொல்லிட்டு 6th to 12th என்சிஆர்டி புக்ஸ் வாங்கிட்டேன் சார்.
சரி.
கிராஜுவலா சைட் பைல நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ஸும் பார்த்தேன் சார். அப்ப நியூஸ் பேப்பர் படிக்கிறப்ப எனக்கு சிலபஸ் ஓரளவு பார்த்ததுனால அதுல எது யூபிஎஸ் ரிலேட்டடா உள்ள பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூங்கிறது தெரிஞ்சிச்சு சார். நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல அன்வான்டட் நியூஸஸ் ஒமிட் பண்ணிட்டு படிக்க முடிஞ்சிச்சு சார். பட் என்னன்னா என்னால டைம் மேனேஜ் பண்ண முடியல சார். கிராஜுவேஷன்ல எனக்கு இன்னும் 3 years இருக்கு சார். எப்படி இதை கோப் பண்ணி கொண்டு போறது கொஞ்சம் சொன்னீங்கன்னா யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும் சார்.
இப்போ நீங்க பிஎஸ்சி அக்ரி எந்த இயர்ல இருக்கீங்க?
செகண்ட் இயர் சார், 3rd செமஸ்டர் இருக்கேன் சார்.
ஓகே சுரேஷ், ஒன் திங் யூ ஷுட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து நீங்க செகண்ட் இயர் படிக்கிறீங்க. இப்போ உங்களுக்கு 19 வயசு 20 வயசு இருக்குன்னா 19 வயசு தான் இருக்கணும். நீங்க இதுக்கு எலிஜிபிலிட்டி 21 வயசு. ஸோ இட் இஸ் குட் தட் யூ ஜாயின் அட் 21 years. ஸோ இப்போ வந்து நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் உங்க கோர்ஸ் நல்லா படிங்க. அது வந்து தட் இஸ் மை earnest advice. Do not lose what to say, lose track of what you should also live in the present. While you are planning for your the future, do not lose your present focus. Your present focus should be, you have chosen BSc Agri na Agri la padikka vendiyadhum padikkanum. This should be your second priority, that civil service examination career, because you cannot kind of rendume panni rendu idhiliyume kaal, you cannot have your feet on two boats. So idu neenga your bulk of your time should go to only your course. That is my earnest opinion. Parallel எங்கெங்க as I said, when you enjoy your preparation, நீங்க இது பண்ணாலே வந்து உனக்கு நிறைய டைம் இருக்கு தம்பி. நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுங்க, இந்த 2 வருஷத்துல ஜாலியா ஷெட்யூல் மாதிரி போட்டு நீங்க இந்த புக் ரீடிங்ல நம்ம ஹாபிக்கு டைம் கண்டிப்பா இருக்கும். நீங்க என்ன கோர்ஸ் படிச்சாலும் உலகத்துல நமக்கு ஃப்ரீ டைம் கண்டிப்பா கிடைக்கும். ஜாலியா இருக்கிறப்ப அப்போ கொஞ்சம் டைம்ல புக்ஸ் படிங்க, பேப்பர் ரெகுலரா படிங்க. மேக் இட் a habit, like you brush your teeth, like you have your food daily, you make it a habit of newspaper reading. Can you do not overburden yourself with all this? First, your first priority should be complete your course with flying colors. And as you graduate, if you are still and the careers நீங்க CSC choose பண்ணா அப்பதான் நீங்க full fledged படிக்கணும். So தயவு செய்து I think this is relevant for everybody. If somebody is in a similar situation, தயவு செய்து நீங்க கோர்ஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் முடிங்க, சரிங்களா? கோர்ஸ் பத்தி ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுங்க, இதை பத்தி நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. parallel you be in the process. இந்த படிக்கிறது ஸோ ஷெடியூல் போட்டு அப்புறம் ஏற்கனவே ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ற பசங்க சீனியர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க, அவங்கள்ட்ட பேசுங்க. ஸோ கைண்ட்லி ஹேவ் தட் இன் மைண்ட் சுரேஷ். ஐ வில் நாட் ரெக்கமெண்ட் சம் வெரி ஹார்ட் திங்ஸ் ஃபார் யூ. திஸ் இஸ் a very simple answer, that's all. வேற?
Thank you sir.
Thank you Suresh.
Yes, students. So Prabhushankar, most of the students, our students are take the examination this June 2022 prelims, right? So maybe they will be asking some doubts about it. ஏதாவது அவங்க எப்படி படிக்கிறது, how to manage something, right? So I think you can உங்களோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை ஷேர் பண்ண, that will be useful for them.
Yes sir.
Yeah.
எப்படிங்க சார்? Can you come again sir? You want me to tell sir?
Yes. So most of the students are going to take the examination by this June 2022, June 5th.
preliminary examination தானே சார்?
preliminary examination. So maybe அது சம்பந்தமா நீங்க ஏதாவது உங்களுக்கு என்ன கொஞ்சம் எப்படி இந்த 6 மாசம் 5 மாசம் டைம் எப்படி ட்ராக் பண்ணலாம், படிக்கலாம், how to make the time effectively utilize the time.
Okay. Okay. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell them what I did. So basically நான் வந்து it was easy for me in the second year. Second year na I started in 2010 June or something, and I appeared for the May 2011 exam. அதுதான் என்னோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் attempt. அப்புறம் அதுல I could not clear, I cleared prelims, I cleared mains. appear ஆறப்போ உடம்பு சரியில்லாம எழுதல. So that was the journey in my first attempt. ஸோ என்ன அப்படின்னா ப்ரிலிம்ஸுக்கு அதுக்கு எப்படி பண்ணால் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 1 year இந்த பேசிக் கிரைண்டெல்லாம் போயிட்டு பேசிக் ஐடியாவோட, ஸோ நீங்கள் இந்தியன் பாலிட்டி, இந்த மாதிரி அந்த இதுக்குன்னு சொல்லி பேசிக் புக்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கட்டும். தென் இன்னர் டைம்ஸ் வி ஹேட் டு டாடா மக்ரா ஹில்லோட ஒரு புக் இருக்கும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் லைக் தட் இஸ் நாட் த ஃபைனல் திங், பட் தட் இஸ் அதுவும் ஒரு பேசிக் இது மாதிரி. அதை முடிச்சிட்டேன் சார். முடிச்சுட்டு your regular newspaper reading and all the knowledge that you imbibe across over the over the months mattered. So இதுக்கு என்ன சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா, to simplify the answer for you, if you are preparing for your preliminary examination for June, by now நீங்க ஏற்கனவே ஆரம்பிச்சு பண்ணியிருந்தீங்கன்னா it is relatively easy. But if you are going to do a crash course, I think institutes like sir offer crash courses for this prelims. அதில் கன்சைஸாக இதுக்கு என்ன மெட்டீரியல் தேவையோ அதை சொல்லி கொடுப்பாங்க. பட் தெர் ஆர் நோ ஷார்ட்கட்ஸ். யூ ஷுட் ஹேவ் அ ஆல்ரவுண்ட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ் ஆஃப் த சிலபஸ். ஸோ இந்த ப்ரிலிம்ஸில் என்ன சிலபஸ் இருக்கோ அது குறித்த ஜென்ரலைஸ்ட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் வேணும். ஸோ அதுக்கு நீங்கள் எவ்வளோ விஷயங்கள் இந்த 6 மாதத்தில் இஃப் யூ கேன் ட்ரை டு ஹேவ் அன் பேசிக் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ் அண்ட் அப்டேட் யுவர் செல்ஃப் வித் கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ். கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ்னா சும்மா ஹூ இஸ் த பிரசிடென்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா, பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் ஆஃப் த கண்ட்ரி, அது கிடையாது. It is about what is happening environment front la. For example, COP இப்போ COP21 இப்போ UK கிளாஸ்கோவில் ஸ்காட்லாண்டில் நடந்தது, அதை பற்றின இந்த அப்போ அதில் என்ன எமிஷன்னா என்ன, அந்த மாதிரி என்விரான்மெண்ட் நிறைய இருக்கும் என்விரான்மெண்டல் இஷ்யூஸில். ஸோ லைக் ஜுடிஷரியில் ஒரு இஷ்யூஸ் இருக்கும். ஜுடிஷரியில் என்ன நடக்குது, காலேஜியம் சிஸ்டம். ஸோ உங்களோட பேப்பரில் சாதாரணமாக வந்துட்டு போகும் காலேஜியம் சிஸ்டம் பற்றி. தெர் பி பொலிட்டிக்கலி தெர் மே பி கிரிட்டிக்கல் கமெண்ட்ஸ், பட் அந்த காலேஜியம் சிஸ்டத்தோட கம்ப்ளீட் ஹிஸ்ட்ரி. ஸோ such basic things which are currently in discourse, but what is the backstory behind this? So that is a way of preparing for the prelims in my opinion, because prelims la GS tha it matters. CSAT is a cakewalk. அது நீங்க ஒரு aptitude test அகர்வால்னு ஒரு புக் இருக்கும். அது அகர்வால் தானே சார்? அது பேர் மறந்துச்சு சார். அகர்வால் நினைக்கிறேன்.
அகர்வால் தான் அது. But classes of of course we are giving to them. So all of our students they already prepared. Mostly ஜூன்ல ஆரம்பிச்சவங்க நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க. Plus September வரைக்கும் ஆரம்பிச்சவங்க இருக்காங்க. So they have been already exposed to the things.
Okay, already exposed. So yes, but the crux of preparation for the prelims இதுதான். So basically issues which are in current discourse. So current affairs தான் மெயினா வரும் சிவில் சர்வீஸ்ல. பட் ஆனால் நம்ம நினைக்கிற மாதிரி current affairs கிடையாது. It is a current affairs of unimaginable level and scale. அந்த current affairsல வச்சு so basic first thing is அந்த current affairsல இருக்கக்கூடிய இஷ்யூஸ்ல நீங்க டு த ஃபைனஸ்ட் டீடைல் படிச்சிருக்கணும். ஸோ ஃபார் எவ்ரி திங் விச் இஸ் இன் கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ் யூ ஷுட் ஹவ் ரெட், யூ ஷுட் ஹவ் பேக் ரீடிங் டு தி அதோடைய ஆரிஜின்ஸ்ல இருந்து அந்த மாதிரிக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். ஐ திங்க் தட் இஸ் ஒன் வே ஆஃப் that is where you should focus in the next 6 months. So it is current affairs and history. For other subjects also adilime you should have read the length and breadth of it. So the preparation you have done all this time will matter. Even history கூட நீங்க ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஏதாவது ஒரு சென்டினரி செலிப்ரேஷன் இருக்கும், இல்லைன்னா வந்து ஒரு அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஒன்லி ஏரியாஸ் ஆஃப் சச் ஏரியாஸ் வில் பி டிஸ்கஸ்ட். So that is how it is. And for others like maybe architecture or something, so it is a very you kindly go through the previous CS papers, I mean the prelims papers. That is another thing which you have to do. The last 5 years will be the most relevant. 10 years எடுத்தாலும் okay, that will give you the trend. You see, have a look at the 5 years papers. That will literally dictate how to approach. So on the next 6 months நீங்க பண்ண வேண்டியது அதுதான். So the facts and some facts you should be thorough. For example, Indian Constitution எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா and the provisions of Indian Constitution இருக்கட்டும், you should be kind of thorough. So this basic level of your preparation la factual thing will be your basement. That is something which is kind of அது கண்டிப்பா inevitable and indispensable. அதுக்கு மேல கட்டடத்தை சூப்பர் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் எப்படி கட்டணும் அப்படின்னா, நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ் இருக்கக்கூடிய விஷயங்கள்ல அதனுடைய பேக் ஹிஸ்டரி அது கம்ப்ளீட்டா. இப்போ குவாட் குரூப் அப்படி இருக்குன்னா, ஸோ எவ்ரி திங் வில் மேட்டர், எவ்ரி சிங்கிள் கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ். பட் ரியலி ஹாவ் டு நோ த மைனியூட் டீடைல். பிகாஸ் எப்படி மெயினாக ப்ரிலிம்ஸ்ல கேட்குறாங்க அப்படின்னா, they will give you 5 choices and they will say 1 and 2 are true, 2 or 3 are correct, அந்த மாதிரி கொடுப்பாங்க. ஸோ நமக்கு அதுல பாதி விஷயம் தெரிஞ்சா you might actually not end up giving the right answer. You really have to know the length and breadth of it and the depth of it, especially for all major issues in current affairs. So that is the way forward I would personally recommend. But otherwise, the basics remain the same. So this is my answer, sir. Where I don't have any.
Yes. Okay. It's thank you. I think I have taken much of your time. So of course you agreed for 1 hour, but you have taken more than 1.5 hours, right? So that is so nice of you. and I thank you on behalf of the students of Kamaraj IAS Academy.
Thank you.
And it was really motivating to hear your story, how you are doing things, right? So definitely that will make them visualize, right?
Thank you,
So they can set their goals, right? And students, since it is Sunday and it's a curfew day, sir has some important things to address. Okay, so I will have a personal audience with him some other time offline, right? So when these things are over, where we'll share his interview experience and other things. So that will be right. So exclusive for you, right? So right off now, we can give a big hand for Prabhushankar, right? So and I wish him all success, right? So I wish him to see as a cabinet secretary of India, right? So that I can say that, right? So he is my student, okay, right? So thank you, Prabhushankar. Thank you for.
Thanks a lot, sir. And my wishes to all the students and aspirants who are part of this session. I really hope everyone in this session comes out with flying colors in the examination and get the job of your dreams, get into the job of your dreams soon. Thank you, sir. And thanks for this opportunity, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prabhushankar. Yeah, see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, students.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
yeah, thank you. So, I think that was really useful to you. And I will come with a session. So, tomorrow, when we're in a regular basis. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.